Hey guys, welcome back to the Piston Show. I'm Keshi Dylan and I'll be hosting this video. Today we are here to talk about the new Peugeot 408. Now there are three variants. The Allure, which is the entry-level model, the Premium, which is the one that we have here, and the GT, which is the top of the line version and which we will drive later. The Premium version costs just a dash under 167,000 ringgit and it offers a very quirky design as well as a rather nice driving experience. But is that enough for the 408 to take the fight to the establishment that include the likes of the mighty Honda Civic? Is a quirky design enough for it to make life difficult for all the current competitors that have been entrenched in the Malaysian market for a while already? We're going to answer that question in this video and tell you how the 408 is actually like to own and to drive. However, as usual, we'll be right back after acknowledging our sponsor. We'll be right back in 60 seconds. This video is brought to you by Berjaya Sompo Insurance. Get Sompo Motosafe by Berjaya Sompo. The less you drive, the less you pay. It's that simple. Choose from 3 different mileage plans with affordable premiums to fit your driving needs. Perfect for those who drive occasionally. Plus, enjoy extra perks like unlimited towing, 100% special perils, and all driver coverages. Ready to drive smart and save big? Switch to Sompo Motosafe today. Head over to Berjaya Sompo Insurance and start saving now. The 408 is undeniably a rather good looking car. The top of the line GT version has a grille that merges into the bodywork very nicely. But the entry-level Allure as well as this, the Premium, have these chrome grille that also looks quite nice. Besides that, it has LED lights all around, 18-inch wheels, and I'm a fan of that fastback design. I really like that. Now we go to the back. The back of the car is where it truly comes alive. I'm talking about the design of the overall car. I like the edginess, I like the rear tail lights, I like the way the entire thing has actually come together. But what is up with this raw, untreated plastic of the rear bumper? It just looks like somebody forgot to do their work. I think it would have looked better in bodywork, in body color, but I guess we'll get used to it. I can't remember if the GT has body colored bumpers or not. That was a while ago. But if it does, then I'm sure the design is better. And the other thing that at this price point, you know, with China cars and such coming with full features, at 167,000 ringgit, you still have to open the tailgate yourself. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Anyway, you get a rather large boot. Now this is quite impressive. This is one of the benefits of a fastback design. You get large usable boot space and you also get a spare tire. I think that's a space saver tire, but at least there's one. So that's good. The design, really nice, no doubt about it. That bumper, I'm sure as the car goes through its product life cycle, Stellantis Malaysia will eventually paint that in body color. Now, before we jump to the front seats, I would just like to take a moment to appreciate the spaciousness of the rear seats. Now this is very nice. You get 2 air conditioning vents, you get 2 USB-C ports, and you get a special unique slot over here to fit your iPhone. Though if it has a cover, it's not going to fit. But what happens if you don't have a cover? Let's find out. Will it fit? I suspect it might. And it does. So yeah, when you have toddlers running around at home, there's nothing like a good bomb-proof phone cover. Anyway, it's a very nice place to be in, spacious, comfortable, and though these back seats, the backrest of the seats are quite straight. I mean, I wish they had a bit more recline to them. The seats themselves are quite comfortable. You get a lot of knee as well as headroom. Can get quite comfortable at the back here. So if you have kids, this might be a good car. So Earlier in this video, I spoke about a quirky design, and this is exactly what I was talking about. This entire dashboard, look at how big it is. It's not very wide, but it's got a very unique design, and it's almost vertical like in nature. But it has these slots over here that is quite cool. I would say that there's no other car quite like this in the market, and this just gives it a very unique character as far as design goes. And when you first step in here, you're like, your brain kind of just shuts off for like a couple of seconds, because there's nothing that it can refer to. There's nothing that sort of looks like this. So, you know, just like when you plug in a USB stick and the computer takes some time for it to read, it sort of feels like that, because you step in here and you're like, how come I've never seen anything like this before? And that's a good thing. It's actually a very nice design. You get a 10-inch infotainment screen over here and another 10-inch meter panel up ahead of you, and you, of course, you get wireless Apple CarPlay, which is quite normal these days. You get a 6-speaker sound system, which could be better, but let's listen. You need some bass, guys. I would say not bad for 6 speakers. And you know, when a lot of car makers are just ditching buttons and knobs and dials, you get traditional dial over here for the volume, and then more dials over here for the air conditioning, though I wish it sort of said that these are to adjust the temperature, because there's no way of telling that this is to adjust the temperature if you didn't actually rotate and find out but for yourself. And notice the lack of a gear shifter. There's no gear shifter in here. There's just this switch. It's literally a switch. So you put your foot on the brake and you want to go to D, you just push it down. This N, this is R, and P would be here, and this is manual mode. But manual mode is only when after you push to D, then you get into manual mode. So it's quite cool. Then you get 3 driving modes: Sport, Normal, Eco. You get a electronic electronic handbrake, more USB-C ports over there, cup holders. And there's one thing that I wish that it had, which it doesn't, is an auto hold function. 167,000 ringgit is not cheap, guys, and it should have an auto hold function, because you know, you spend a lot of time in traffic and you don't really want to put your foot on the brake all the time. If the tech is available, then use it. Unfortunately, there's none of that in this car, where else its competitors such as the Honda Civic has that. So you also get a charge pad over here, and this steering wheel deserves a, oh my god, Peugeot keeps insisting on using the steering wheel, and it takes some getting used to. This hexagonal steering wheel over here is just something else. But after having driven this car for a few days, I will tell you that you sort of get used to it. At first, you are like, WTF, because it keeps getting in your way of that meter panel. No matter how I adjust it, this is too high, and I can't see the meter at all. This is too low, I can see the meter, but I'm not comfortable. This is too far in. This is just, I don't know, man. Anyway, after having driven it for a few days, I've sort of come to terms with it already. Can I live with it? Yeah, I can live with it. I do wish it was, you know, a better design out there, or I think a heads-up display would have solved this problem. But anyway, French. It's the entire interior of the 408 comes together very, very nicely, I've got to say. There's a very nice interior to live with, very comfortable. The seats are brilliant, I would say. You get electronic adjustability for driver and passenger, but no memory function at 167,000. That's okay. And this is a place where I can envision myself spending a lot of time. It's a very nice, comfortable, and spacious even And when it comes to quality, I would say that so far, I like it. I like the way the entire package comes together. And yes, it's going to make life difficult for the likes of the Honda Civic. Hey guys, what are some of the things that you consider when choosing a petrol brand? For me, I make sure that the petrol can keep my engine clean and also give me better mileage. I'm sure everybody thinks about this when choosing a particular brand. With BH Petrol's Infinity RON 95 Euro 4M, you get precisely that. It has special German additives that reduces the amount of deposits that build up in your engine over the long term, keeping it clean. It also has improved friction modifiers that reduces the amount of friction that your engine has to go through, ultimately giving you better mileage and making BH Petrol's Infinity RON 95 Euro 4M the right choice. But the Peugeot 408 comes together very nicely on the move. The combination of this smaller steering wheel, which I was complaining about earlier, together with the entire dash and the supple suspension, which I think Peugeot has hit the nail on, because it's just at the right balance between soft and firm. You don't want it to be too soft because it'll just add to the body roll and it'll just make you feel nauseated. And you don't want it to feel too sporty either, where it will start to feel uncomfortable. You see, during sharp turns like this, there's very little body roll, and I think Peugeot deserves credit for the way they have just set up the suspension. I think it's just the very nice balance of soft and firm, which is perfect for Malaysian roads, and I really like the way it delivers power. I think it's a very nice package when it comes to driving the 408. Anybody that is a self-proclaimed driver or an enthusiast would appreciate how the 408 drives. And for those that are family-oriented, that want the spaciousness for a family, you'll appreciate how refined this car actually is, which, to be honest, is quite surprising. I know Peugeots have been largely absent from the Malaysian market. They've been here, but then at the same time they've not been here. It's just that, chicken and egg situation we have been for the past couple of years. And this has basically sort of reset our expectations when it comes to their cars. Of course, Peugeot has always made brilliant cars. Let me excuse myself and just indulge in this power delivery. Yeah, very nice. Sounds great too. This 1.6 litre engine is quite sprightly, I must say. Whoa. Some very legal speeds right now. Very, very nice. It's just allowing me to hold my line. Wow, nice. So this is brilliant. I think anybody that likes to drive will appreciate how well the 408 actually drives. And I'm doing some very legal speeds, and the refinement in here is still brilliant. I like it. I like how good of a package it is when it comes to driving the 408. Now, the French have always created some very nice driver's car. What I mean by driver's car is driving machines, and the 408 is no different. There's a lot of quirky things about the 408, but when it comes to driving it, you can forget about everything, because it's just such a nice driving machine. Even this steering wheel, which annoys the hell out of me, it feels very nice as well when you're driving it. It's just very ergonomically efficient. There's places to keep your palms. A lot of us drive with our hands at the top of the steering wheel, which just feels very nice. Even if you're the type, very rare, but if you're the type that drives 3 and 9 or 10 and 2, you're holding the steering wheel at 3, 9, 10 and 2, you'll find this to be to feel very nice in your hands. But it just, I don't like the fact that it just gets in between you and the meter panel. You know what will solve it? If it had heads-up display, that would absolutely solve this issue. So if you're a product planner in Peugeot Malaysia, in Stellantis Malaysia, and you're watching this video, try that lah, bro. Try a heads-up display and it'll fix this issue. You know, it's okay if you don't make a lot of profit, but at least this will just be a much better car to own and to drive. Anyway, I like how this entire package has come together as far as the suspension goes, as far as the refinement goes, as far as the power delivery. The 8-speed automatic gearbox is brilliant as well. You get pedal shifters, and I'm shifting from 8 to 5th. Brilliant. Very fast shifts as well. So from here you can tell already that Peugeot knows what they are doing when it comes to creating proper driving machines, and you wouldn't expect them to know any lesser. These guys have been creating awesome driving cars since forever. Even, I mean, case in hand, the GTIs. So yeah, the 408 is a brilliant car, no doubt about it, and I look forward to driving the 408 GT. So Peugeot 408 Premium, very impressed, no doubt about it. That 1.6 litre engine just means that you're not going to pay that much road tax. And if I'm not mistaken, the 408 might just be the most powerful in its class. I have to fact check that, but from what I remember about the rest of the competitors, I think the 408 might just be the most powerful in its segment. And I think it's not explosive power, it's very refined power in the way that it delivers its power, its horsepower and torque. The design is one of my favorite things about the 408. This fastback design adds a lot of character to it. In fact, the auntie that lives right next to me, she came out, she's like, "You bought this car, it's such a nice looking car." And you know, in typical 70-year-old lady fashion, I was like, "No auntie, I'm just reviewing it." But it has that impact on people. And you know, the thing about the Peugeot brand in Malaysia is that it has been here way before me. My father used to tell me stories about my grandfather owning Peugeots and such. If I'm not mistaken, even the Malaysian police force used to use Peugeots as well. So the brand is entrenched in Malaysian history, and I'm kind of glad that the brand has sort of stabilized in Malaysia with the presence of Stellantis Malaysia. For many years we only had distributors and such, and you know, though I gotta give it to them, they did do a good job in ensuring people were connected with the Peugeot brand, but the ownership experience of its vehicles was sort of questionable. Now though, it's on an entirely different level. And that is evident with the likes of a 7-year warranty. 7-year or 200,000 kilometer warranty is brilliant. I like that. I like that I don't have to worry about whatever is going to happen with this car for the next 7 years. I know what you're thinking. It's just a 3-year manufacturer warranty. After that, the next 4 years are backed up by Stellantis Malaysia. What's the difference? Isn't Stellantis Malaysia the manufacturer? Aren't they building this car in Gurun Kedah? So for me, it's the same thing. And this is definitely a very good looking car, very nice, very refined, a perfect balance of power and comfort, efficiency as well. And I'm seeing a fuel consumption figure of 11 kilometers per litre, which is not the greatest, but I haven't really been driving this car efficiently, I would say, and it's difficult not to indulge in the 218 PS. Very fun car to drive, very comfortable car even. So if you're looking for an alternative to the usual establishments that include the Honda Civic, then the Peugeot 408 is definitely a worthy consideration. It's not cheap, it's more expensive than the Civic, that's for sure, and the new Civic is definitely has its own unique set of appeal, and the Civic Hybrid, I mean, you can't argue against that kind of efficiency. But the 408 is bigger. I would argue that it's slightly more comfortable as well. It has better seats, that's for sure. And that interior, yeah, you got to see it to believe it, and take it out for a test drive. Then you'll know what I mean. As usual, guys, thank you for watching. Do consider subscribing.